Hi and welcome to the webinar today, Promote Your Xero Practice Online. We're going to get started in just a minute. A bit of housekeeping. You can use the Q&A and the chat window to get in touch with, well, first of all, to ask questions to me. At the end, I'm going to be sticking around for a Q&A, and I'll be joined by Sandra again from SeaChange Accounting. So we're going to, Sandra's kindly made some time to come along today and share her experience in terms of Xero marketing. And if you have any technical problems, we've got Camilla from BizInc on the line too. So if you use that chat window, she can try and get those sorted out for you. And we're going to be recording today's session as well. So we'll be sending that out in an email after the session finishes. So we'll send that out to you, and we'll send the slides out as well, because I know we often get asked that. So just before we get into it, where's everyone connecting from today? I'm in South Island in New Zealand, in Wanaka. It's pretty wintry today. It's meant to be the start of summer almost, and we've got snow and sub-zero temperatures, but let me know where you're connecting from. That'd be cool to know. All right, sweet. Let me have a look. I'm having real problems with the Zoom control panel today, so thanks for telling me where you're connecting from. I can't actually pull that up. I think it's something to do with Keynote and Zoom. But look, let's get into it, and thanks for sharing that. So, my name's Matt Wilkinson. I'm the founder and CEO of BizInc. We help accountants and bookkeepers with marketing. We work with hundreds of Xero firms across the globe, and I'm going to be sharing today some of the best practices and things we've learned from doing that. So let's get into it. We've got a bit to cover today, and what we're going to be looking at is planning. How that's really important to lay the foundation for the rest of your Xero marketing. Then we're going to have a look at optimizing traffic from the Xero directory. You got free traffic coming from there, and you need to make the most of that. We're going to have a look at marketing Xero to your clients. Your existing clients are the low-hanging fruit when it comes to marketing, and they're your best source of new business. So we're going to take a good look at that. We're going to have a look at how to get Xero leads. And then, as I mentioned just earlier, we've got Sandra from SeaChange Accounting, got a really successful Xero practice based in Australia, and she's going to be sharing some of the marketing things that they do. And final part, we'll stick around for a Q&A. So what I wanted to do just before we get into the main bulk of the presentation today was see whether you've got whether you've got a marketing plan. So I'm just going to launch a poll. I'm going to have to minimize my screen here to do this because I have a few problems between Keynote and Zoom. So just let me get across here and launch this poll. So I'm going to launch that now. All right, cool. So if you could just answer that, if you've got a marketing plan, we'll leave that open for just a few minutes, and it'd be interesting to see what comes out. So we did a survey last year to over 400 bookkeeping and accounting firms from all across the globe, and what we found was that vast majority of them didn't have a plan. So let's see if that tallies up with you guys on the session today. So I'm just going to end that poll now quickly. And I'll share those results. So we can see that 63% of you guys today don't have a plan, and that matches up pretty closely to what we found. So 68% don't have a plan, 38% do. So I'm going to close that down now, and bring back the slides. Sorry about all this jumping in between the two platforms. I don't know what's happening with Zoom, but yeah, that's what we found was 68% of firms didn't have a plan. And there's a bit of a shocking thing to me that, if you're advising businesses, I'd hope you're telling them to have a business plan. And, if you don't have a marketing plan, it's really not laying much of a foundation for your marketing success. So that's the first thing, is that the most successful Xero firms that we work with have a plan. That they're planning out the strategy and the tactics to reach their target audience. So this is a slide I put in pretty much every marketing webinar I do, and I do that because it's so important to think about. Marketing to everybody is marketing to nobody. And if you're targeting is the wrong word, but that's what people say is, I'm targeting small business owners. Well, you're not actually targeting anybody, and your marketing is going to be very generic and very scattergun. And the successful Xero firms, they have a real focus to their marketing. They're not just trying to sell to all small business owners in their area. So the way that you avoid that is by defining your ideal prospect. And in other words, like, you've got to work out who you want to most work with, and then you direct your marketing at that person, or those people. And that's so important because it brings focus to your marketing. Instead of pushing out generic campaigns to a wide audience, you start sending super targeted messages to a much smaller but more engaged segment. So how do you decide on who's your ideal prospect if you've not done that already? Well, what I'd be doing is asking yourself, who do you most like working with? Because being in practice should be fun. And you shouldn't be trying to choose a type of prospect because other firms do, or it's just somebody you're familiar with. You've worked with lots of people like that in the past. You might also think about, does your ideal prospect come from a certain industry, profession, or a vertical? Sandra later might talk about how they have a niche working with cafe and restaurant owners. I've worked with firms that focus on tourism operators and even a sole trader who specialized in the horse racing industry. So, if you have a specialism, you might also want to focus horizontally, not just vertically across an industry. So, for example, you could target businesses with inventory or stock, and that could cover different sectors like e-commerce and retail. So once you've defined, you have an idea of who your ideal prospect is, you need to think about their pain points. So the way to do this is try and put yourself in their shoes and think about what keeps them awake at night. Do you know what your prospects love doing or why they launch their business? If you do, what's getting in the way of them doing that, doing what they love? What makes them stressed? What are the jobs that they really hate to do and why? Are there like financial or legal regulatory pressures that are making their life hell? Understanding those pain points is really the key to successful marketing. You want them to feel like you know their problems inside out. So instead of just being another firm, they become someone, you become someone they'd love to work with. And obviously, to be able to sell to them, you've got to be able to solve those pain points. And that means you need relevant products and services and being able to articulate the benefits of those to your prospects. So that's where Xero comes in, and the add-on ecosystem and all those services that you put around that. But no one's coming to you to buy cloud accounting or this add-on. They're coming because they've got a problem or a challenge, and those things can help solve them. So a couple of things just to note here. I'm not suggesting you niche your whole firm. I just want to help you be a better marketer. And like I said, marketing to everybody is marketing to nobody. So to avoid this, think about marketing to an ideal prospect. So niche your marketing. I'm not saying niche your firm, just niche your marketing. And second, look, your ideal prospect now might not be your ideal prospect in 6 months. It's an ongoing process. And it's fine to make mistakes along the way, and that could mean pivoting to a new ideal prospect. The main thing is to make a start. Now, just before I get into the marketing tactics, just want to cover something else, which is that I've been thinking about a lot, is that creativity in marketing is something that we hear about a lot, and I think it's overrated. So I'll explain what I mean is that, Xero invests really heavily in design and creative, and that's been a massive factor in helping them win market share. But they have a huge design budget, and I'm pretty sure you don't. So how can you create beautiful marketing campaigns? Well, the truth is you don't need to. And I actually believe that, creativity is overrated in marketing. Not that it's not important, all things being equal, really creative marketing is great. But what's more important is actually getting marketing done. Just like this Spanish guy who was pretty good at art said, it's about doing things. That's the key to success. And so what I'm really saying here is don't procrastinate. You don't need a new brand to start sending marketing campaigns. Perhaps your website needs a refresh. It doesn't mean you can't get leads from it. Don't keep rejigging your pricing packages because if you're not doing any marketing, nobody is looking at them. So they're all things that I've heard several firms say to me, why they're kind of not doing marketing. That they're just excuses. And just to add to this, I think, some of the firms that Xero highlights are doing really incredible and very creative marketing. And I understand why Xero holds them up as inspirational examples. The thing is, though, if you don't have their marketing budget or skills, it's really hard to copy what they're doing or be influenced by what they're doing. And that can be intimidating. So I would say be inspired by these firms, but don't feel inferior. You can still run really successful marketing campaigns for your firm. You don't have to be creative. Business-to-business marketing is, there's a tried and tested playbook for doing that. The key is showing up and doing something daily, weekly, monthly, and then the results will come. Like action is the foundational key to all success. That's really important. So hopefully you're keen to start learning some tactics for promoting your Xero firm, and that's what I'm going to be moving on to next in just a minute. And before I do that, I just wanted to show you how BizInc can help you build a marketing plan based around Xero. We've got a service called Marketing Blueprint where we help firms create both a marketing strategy and a 90-day marketing plan. So on screen is an example of a 90-day plan with marketing tactics for getting Xero in front of your clients. And we've got a bunch of pre-written campaigns like this based around Xero, but we can also tailor them to the locality of your firm, your audience. And this will cover everything I've just been talking about. We'll help you work out who's your ideal prospect, what are their pain points, their challenges, and what messages and tactics to use to engage them. And then we wrap that up into an action plan, which doesn't require marketing skills, too much time, or budget. So we normally charge $999 for this service, but as a bonus for you guys coming along to the webinar today, I want to give you a free marketing blueprint. So what happens is we have a meeting with you, and then we'll help you create this strategic document and plan. So if you want that, I'm going to offer that to anybody who books a demo, and we'll give you a free marketing blueprint worth $1,000 as well. So Camilla's going to post a link to book the demo in the chat. If you book that in, we will schedule a free marketing blueprint session with you as well. And if you listen to the recording, sorry, you've missed out. This is why you should actually come along to the webinars. So this is only for people who attend. So let's get into it. The first thing that I want to look at in terms of marketing tactics is optimizing your listing from the Xero directory. So you're getting this free traffic from Xero, and a lot of firms are directing that straight to their homepage. Now that's a massive waste, because you've got these people who've got a really specific interest, obviously in Xero. They've made the time to go to the Xero site, hunt out an accountant or bookkeeper, search probably in your area, and click on your link, and you send them to your homepage. So what you need to do is you've got to give them a focused page around Xero, what we'd call a Xero landing page. And rather than explain this to you, what I'm going to do is jump into some real websites, some business clients, and show you the kind of things that you should be doing on your website. So just let me jump into that, and we'll go through it. So this is a firm called Wise Advice, based in Auckland, and they've got a really simple and effective landing page. Right at the top, you can see they emphasize their credentials. There is a platinum partner, so that they're building that trust and credibility straight away. The page then gives an overview of the benefits of Xero, so we can see that there. But what's really cool about this page is the really clear calls to action. People are lazy online, so they're not going to hang around long on your page. So, you can contact them here with a button. They've got all their offices, phone numbers, details here. If we go back to the top of the page, you can see the phone numbers again. There's a link to contact them. So I think they've pretty much used a belt and braces approach to ensure that anyone who is going to get in contact with them, has got a way to do that. The next one that I wanted to have a look at was a firm called Silverstone. They're based near Philly in the States, and they go for a bit more of a graphical approach when we built the site for them. So you can see they've got their Xero badge right near the top there, and calls to action again. They've got book a demo. They're really easy to get in touch. And as I scroll down the page, you can see they've got a bit of personality there. They've got this caricature of the team. And finally, these guys have got a lead magnet here. So basically some valuable content that they're giving away. And it's this course that we created for them. It's a Learn Xero course. And so they're basically, those people who visited the site don't get in touch for whatever reason, you try and grab their details by giving away this valuable content. And we'll talk a little bit more about lead magnets later. So the final one that I wanted to show you was SeaChange, and as I mentioned, Sandra's kindly going to be along later and share some of her marketing tactics with you. So, when I click View Website, this is her listing on the Xero directory. Click on that, and it goes through to a focused Xero landing page. So what Sandra and the team at SeaChange decided to do is take a more local approach, which I think is real smart. So they're based in a place called Port Macquarie in New South Wales in Australia, and that phrase is throughout that page, and that helps with their search engine ranking as well. Mentioning that phrase, we're going to have a look at search engine optimization a little bit later. But most people want to hire a local firm. Even in this cloud world and all of that, most people like to work with someone locally, and I think you'll all agree with that. Most of your clients probably come from a pretty focused area. So having that local part is really important. And if we search for Xero accountant Port Macquarie, there they are right at the top, actually even beating the Xero directory there. So that's really cool. You got that SEO element to it as well. And so hopefully there's a few tips you can take away there. The first one is, you need that focused page. It needs to have some good calls to action on it. Maybe make it local, bring some personality to it. But that to me, if you do nothing else from this webinar, take away nothing else, is to make sure you've got a landing page, and don't throw away that traffic that you're getting from Xero. You might not be getting a lot, but make the most of what you do get, because it's potentially very good leads. So the next thing that I wanted to look at was marketing your marketing Xero to your clients. So basically, I look at your existing clients as like a pot of gold that you're sitting on, and I often ask accountants if their existing clients know about all of the services they offer, and the answer to that is invariably no. So before you even try and get new Xero clients, you should be marketing to your existing clients. You've already established that trust, so it's much easier to sell more to them. And often they're kind of surprised that you've never told them about all this other cool stuff that you do. So in terms of Xero, I see there's like 3 main ways that you should be marketing to clients. Number 1, you should be trying to get your clients using Xero, switching them if they're using other accounting software. So if you've got an existing firm and you've got what you call legacy clients or people using other apps and you want to move them across, then marketing it, that's a marketing challenge, right? You've got to get the message out there that Xero is a really cool app and they should switch over, and that takes time. We're going to talk about that with Sandra a bit later. That's not an overnight thing. Obviously, if you're a 100% Xero firm and you've always been that way, that's not a concern. So the second thing I think you should be doing with clients is educating them on using Xero so that they see more value in what you're offering them. And I'll show you some ways that you can do that. Final thing is selling additional services to them based on Xero. So that could be like, cash flow planning, it could be budgeting, or you might be using some apps to do that, like a Spotlight, a Fathom, or a Futurely, to do business advisory, dashboards, that kind of thing. Or you might be doing industry-specific stuff based on, like an ecosystem app, like, say, Vend for retail or Figured for farming. So some of the tactics I'm going to run through are going to be turning your website into a Xero resource, blogging, email marketing, marketing automation, social media, and finally, webinars and events. So let's dive into that. I'm going to jump back into onto the browser again, and the first part that we're going to have a look at is turning your website into an educational resource around Xero. So let's just jump in and have a look at that. So this is back on the Alloy Silverstone website. They have this Xero resources section that we created for them. So you can see here, this is a video from Xero TV. And Xero provide all of these heaps of good videos that you can embed on your site. So what we do for clients is have this Xero resources section. So right on your site, you can own that relationship, keep them right here on your website. And we've got all these videos sitting on the site here. And that's something that you can do through like marketing. You send them those through emails or blogs, that kind of thing. You can post on your social media, or when you're sitting with clients having meetings, it's really good to have this information on your website. So that's where they're turning to you to do their Xero education and training. What you might also do is blogs. So here's an example of a blog that SeaChange did on around Xero and apps that help you get paid sooner. So what I really like about this is they focus not just on like a technology thing, they focused on a real pain point for small business owners, which is getting paid, right? Data management's a big issue for lots of businesses, and causes genuine pain if they're not getting paid. So they've done this post, they've looked at a few different apps, very cool. And blogs, they can really help keep your website fresh, give you something to share on social media, and also help with your search engine ranking as well. So just like Sandra and SeaChange have done here, if you're struggling for ideas for blog content, think about a challenge or pain point that your clients have. What are the questions that you often get asked? And then create some content around that, because you can guarantee that if your clients are worrying and thinking about those things, that other business owners will. So the next thing would be an email newsletter. So email marketing is something you absolutely should be doing. Email marketing's got a ROI, return on investment, of $44 for every $1 spent. So it's considerably higher than every other type of online marketing. So 3 types of email I'd be sending would be email newsletter, email blasts, and automated emails or marketing automation. So, like what we do here is when we do for clients, like a Xero tips newsletter. This is just about Xero. You could also include Xero information, for example, in in your normal newsletter if you're sending that. But having a newsletter, I'd send it monthly, like quarterly, a bit too infrequent. More than monthly is probably too much. So you should be sending something out every month to clients. Email blasts. So what I mean by email blasts is basically one-off emails promoting something. And you can send those to clients, you can send those to prospects. So something to note in terms of email marketing, every Xero client you have has an email address. They've got to have that to log into the software. Every single one's got an email address. And they probably check that email several times a day. Now, social media, for example, gets a lot of, a lot of press and kind of, as a marketing method you should be using. And we'll cover that in a minute. But think about that, everyone's got an email address. What percentage of your clients are on, say, Facebook, LinkedIn, or Twitter? It's not going to be all of them for sure. And then think about how many actually go in and check it regularly. Percentage comes right down. So I think that's what shows why email is so important, because you're going with a tactic that everyone versus a percentage of your clients or your prospects. So email blasts, I'd be sending personally. I'd send something promotional every single month. You need to do this stuff if you want to sell. So what things could you be sending? Well, it could be something like trying to switch people from QuickBooks. If you're sending that to clients, it could be that you're running an event about Xero. So we've got some kind of content in here. So what we do at BizInc, we provide these like pre-written email templates to make the process of sending email blasts much easier. But you don't need to be complicated with these things. If you've got clients, they're interested in something, and you've got a service that matches up with that, send them an email. Very low cost way to get marketing done. So final part of email marketing I just want to have a look at would be marketing automation, sometimes known as drip marketing. And here's an example of that course that I showed a little bit earlier, Learn Xero course. So people can sign up to this course for free. They put in their email address, you get a lead. But even better than that, we can automate that. So in the back end of the BizInc site here, you can see, this course is sent out automatically day 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then there's a bit of a conversion email at the end to try and get a meeting happening. Obviously, you don't need a BizInc site to do that. You could do that through a tool like MailChimp or Campaign Monitor, Active Campaign. There's a bunch of those apps that you can do automated emails with, and they're a really great way to both get leads and then obviously nurture those leads to make them more likely to buy off you. So next I wanted to talk a little bit about social media, and I'm probably going against the flow a little bit here, but I think most firms are wasting their time with social media. It's not that it shouldn't be a part of your marketing mix. It's just that I think it's often used the wrong way by accounting firms. And also the results that people expect from it are way out of line with what it's ever likely to deliver. And I think this is where sometimes the firms that are held up as examples by vendors are really the exceptions that prove the rule. So what I mean by that is that those, examples of firms who we all kind of probably can think of some examples there, that they tend to be the ones who are really active on social media. They're really good at that. And often their marketing is driven by a person in that firm that has a really strong personal brand. So, for them, it works really, really well. But that's really hard to replicate. And I wouldn't suggest that you do that unless you're fully committed to creating lots of unique content, and you're also committed to being really active on social media. In my experience, the time and effort to do that is way beyond what I think most of you would want to commit. And that's fine. Different types of marketing suit different people. And that doesn't mean you have to ignore social media. Absolutely not. It's still a great tool for engaging with clients. But I just think you've got to set your expectations that, you're not going to be getting a bunch of leads from it. So in terms of using social, I think that focus on the audience that you've already got, which is predominantly clients, they're engaged with you already. And the platforms I'd be focusing on would be LinkedIn and Facebook. Twitter, Instagram, less so. And maybe if some of your clients are on them, but LinkedIn, that's the business platform. Facebook, biggest social media network in the world. So I think both of those are the ones that I would personally focus on. And in terms of tactics, I just keep it simple. Use them as a channel to post the content that's already on your website, your blog, get that stuff out there to a wider audience. Educational content in the main, but you can also do promotional content on there as well. For example, if you're doing something like an event or a webinar, which I'm going to talk about in just a second, you can invite them along through social as well. So events and webinars. So this is a webinar about promoting your Xero firm online. I decided to put a little bit in about events, which I'll come to in a minute, just because even though they're an offline tactic, A, I think they're so effective, and B, the boundaries between on and offline kind of don't matter as much anymore. So we'll chat about that in just a minute. So why not run a webinar like this? A basic Zoom subscription is $40 US a month. And beyond that, you just need to invest a bit of time into creating the content. So it's a great low-cost way to engage with your clients around Xero. It's definitely a bit daunting hosting a webinar for the first time, but pretty easy to get the hang of. And if you're doing it to clients, it should be a pretty friendly audience. You'll want to keep the content short and sweet. Just like your clients are busy, so really fast and punchy webinars are best. And you're aiming to give them like a bunch of practical tips. I've done a lot of webinars, and people don't remember the whole thing that you're going to do. They just, they're going to remember a couple of bits. But if they take away something valuable, that's a big win. After the webinar, you should always follow up with the recording, and of course give them an opportunity to work with you. Try and sell to them. And webinars, real low cost way to get something happening. But I think I just want to talk about face-to-face events, because we're in a high tech world now, but to me that makes high touch even more important. So nothing beats that, meeting people in person. And an event doesn't have to be anything more than getting together with a handful of clients, helping to solve some of their challenges. Could be at an office, your office, could be local bar or cafe, meeting room at a hotel, doesn't need to be anything flash. And you could do a formal presentation, you could run it workshop style, perhaps a free event. Probably also think about maybe charge a nominal entrance fee, and you'll get a better turn up rate on the day. So whichever way you do it, having in-person conversations with clients is hard to beat. And you obviously don't just have to invite clients. Events are a great way to meet prospects too. So if you run an event, consider asking clients to bring a friend along who's also a business owner. So SeaChange Accounting run Xero events. They open these to clients and prospects. You can see the sign-up page on their website. They've used Eventbrite and embedded that into their Bizzing site. And Sandra's going to be on shortly, so we'll hopefully have a chance to chat about this as part of the Xero tactics that they employ. So, do you get all of your leads from referrals? For most firms, they do. We did this survey of 400 firms, and we found that fully 81% got all of their leads from referrals. Now, that's, referrals are great. We love referrals, but they're not predictable or scalable. So I wanted to show you some ways to attract Xero leads. So before we get into this, the first thing is to realize that it's really hard to win new clients. I don't say that to discourage you. It's just to know that you've got to keep plugging away. It's really hard, and that's true for me and the Bizzing team. It's true for you, and it's true for pretty much every accounting business out there. Business owners have limited budget, and they've got lots of places they can spend it. So it's hard to get them to choose you. So I say, don't get downhearted by that if you don't see results right away with your marketing. As I said earlier, the firms that do best are those that consistently stick at their marketing. So in terms of getting Xero leads, 3 tactics I'm going to cover: search engine marketing, outreach, and face-to-face. So a lot of firms see ranking on the first page of Google as the pinnacle of online marketing success. In reality, it's not only hard to achieve, it also doesn't mean that you're going to get a bunch of leads just because you're there. And even the leads you do get might be B and C grade clients. After all, like most successful business owners will turn to their network before searching in Google when they're looking for an accountant. Having said that, if people are looking for Xero accountants in your area, they're showing a really specific interest. And so appearing in the first few results in Google is definitely worthwhile. So on screen, you can see the first page of search results for the phrase Xero accountant Auckland. And you can see that's a couple of Bizzing's clients highlighted there. Now, let's look at how many searches there are for that phrase in a given month. So I used Google's keyword planning tool, and I can see that last month there were 10 to 100 searches for the phrase Xero accountants Auckland. And for comparison, I also added the phrase accountants Auckland, and that got between 100 and 1,000 searches. So it's interesting to note that even in a big city of over 1 million people like Auckland, there are not huge numbers of people using Google to find an accountant. And remember that even if you come top, only some of those people will click on your link, and then only a handful of those will get in touch with you. So when I see firms putting most of their marketing budget into search, I do worry a bit because it's quite an inefficient way to get leads. It's definitely a good part of your marketing mix, which is why I'm talking about it, but definitely not one to put all your eggs in that basket. So with search engines, you're basically waiting for leads to come to you. But if you really want to crank up your lead generation and start winning new Xero clients, then you need to think about, instead of waiting for them to come to you, going to them. And that's where you need to think about outreach. So outreach is It's about making a daily habit to prospect and to follow up with leads. To build a sales pipeline, you've got to be actively reaching out to the business owners that you want to work with. I'm not talking about cold calling here. This is all done initially using email. And if you defined your ideal prospect really well and crafted services and messages that talk to their pain points, you're going to get a lot of success with this method. So the basic format of the messages you're sending to people is you're asking them, saying, you've got a challenge, and here's how we solve it for people like you, and here's the next step if you'd like to get help. So, at BizInc, one of the goals for our sales team is to reach out to 10 accounting firms every day. Over a month, that's like 200 firms per person, and the response rate we get from that, about 7%. So that's roughly 14 sales meetings that we get every month per salesperson. Let's call it a 50% conversion rate. That's 7 new clients using outreach. So it's predictable, it's scalable, it's a proper system in your business. And we do that not from an bulk email tool like MailChimp. That's done from your inbox, one by one. Because it's a little bit more time consuming, but that means you can customize the messages and make it very personal. So I would say, commit maybe 30 days, 30 minutes a day to outreach. And there's no reason why you couldn't get a similar result to that. Now, it's probably something that's not a tactic that's talked about as much. So we've actually created a bunch of email outreach templates. And I'm happy to send those to you after the webinar. So we'll include those in the follow-up email. So the final lead gen tactic I just wanted to touch on was a lead magnet. You should have a lead magnet. So we saw one earlier with that Learn Xero course. Here's another one here around the business plan. And what a lead magnet is basically a value exchange. You're giving away a valuable piece of content in exchange for someone's contact details, most likely their email address. And the reason you want a lead magnet is that most visitors to your website won't get in touch and they'll never come back. It's the sad reality of most accounting websites. It's not because they're not interested. It just means they're just not ready to pick up the phone. They're doing a bit of research, but if they go away, they might never come back. So with a lead magnet, you can offer them something. You can offer them a smaller step. So rather than just engaging you, they can download this. Oh, this is a course. They could download an ebook, something like that. You've got their contact details, and you can start a conversation. And as we saw earlier, that can even be done automatically with drip marketing, just like that Learn Xero course. So, to start thinking about creating a lead magnet for yourself, you've got to create a pretty high value piece of content that would really help prospects, clients. You've got to give away a bit of knowledge here, but doing that positions you as an expert, and that builds a trust and credibility that you need to win new clients. Once you've created your lead magnet, the piece of content, you'll need to gate it. So that means gating means hiding it behind an online form like this, so that to get hold of that content, people have got to give you their email address. And obviously, once you've got their email address, you can follow up with them. Doesn't mean they're all going to want to book a sales meeting or become clients, but it's a systematic way to get leads, and some of them will. So as well as on your website, you could promote your lead magnet via email, social media, anywhere you're trying to win new business. It becomes a key weapon in your lead generation arsenal. So there's some tactics that we see working really well in terms of online marketing for Xero firms. Some other ways you can get help. Well, I would say you should talk to Xero or check out what Xero can do to help you with marketing. They've got some really great resources. They do vary from region to region, country to country, but they provide all manner of marketing content and resources to partners like you. In some countries, they'll even match fund your marketing efforts if they involve promoting Xero. So several of our clients have used the Xero marketing fund to work with us. So my advice would be to reach out to your partner manager and see what's available. Also check out the Xero website. Under the resources menu tab, there's a whole bunch of cool marketing stuff for accountants and bookkeepers. And my other advice would be, look, if you lack time but you've got some budget, hire a marketing professional. I mean, you're obviously thinking, yeah, Matt's the CEO of a marketing company that works with accountants and bookkeepers. He's going to say that. But, I would say to you, do you tell your clients to do their own accounts and bookkeeping? Of course not. So I think, if you've got some budget, I know for example, our prices are probably a lot lower than your hourly rate. So if you're struggling to get marketing done, reach out and see what we can offer. We've helped hundreds of Xero partners with marketing, and we've got a bunch of tried and tested Xero specific content and campaigns that we can give you. So if you want to talk to me or one of the Bizzing team, Camilla's just posted, is going to post a link in the admin panel, and you can book some time with with myself or one of the team. So before Sandra, my guest, comes in and shares some of her tactics, we're going to just sum up what we talked about today. So the first thing is have a plan. Without a plan, your marketing is going to be pretty scattergun, and it's going to be hard to see any real success. Like I mentioned, if you're going to do nothing else, optimize your Xero landing page. It's an easy thing to do, pretty easy thing to do, and make sure you're not just linking to your homepage from the Xero directory, or you're throwing away a bit of traffic there. Prioritize marketing to existing clients because they're much easier to sell to. It's your low-hanging fruit, and you're going to have much more success there than trying to win new clients. That's a longer-term strategy, and you've got to make lead generation a daily task. You've got to prospect every day. You need to follow up every day. You need to stay warm in your network and make sure you're getting those referrals coming through. But you've got to make that a daily task if you want a nice full sales pipeline. And don't try and do it all on your own. Xero can help, Bizzing can help. I mean, there's other marketing providers out there that can help as well. Make sure you're not just trying to do it all on your own, because it's not easy. I'm not going to say it's easy, but it's definitely achievable. So I am going to now ask Sandra to come back on the line. I will unmute her. Give me 1 second, and we're going to chat through. Hey, Sandra, can you hear me?
Hi, Matt. Yeah, hi, Matt.
Thanks very much for making the time to come along today.
Thanks for having me.
No worries. Well, I thought just before we got into a few questions, you could just give us a brief history of SeaChange Accounting and what your journey has been with Xero.
Okay, yeah, sure. So SeaChange Accounting, we're a small firm based, as you said, in Port Macquarie, New South Wales, on the mid-north coast of Australia. The accounting side of the business was started 7 years ago in partnership with SeaChange Financial Planning. So we share an office in Port Macquarie. We've got a team now on the accounting side of 4 team members. We're all very passionate about Xero. We love technology, cloud software, and just making our clients' lives easier with saving them time and just taking away some of the stress with the bookkeeping that they have. My journey with Xero, I actually began using Xero before I started SeaChange. I was doing the bookwork for my husband and a few friends using traditional desktop software, and very frustrated, discovered Xero, and I really saw that it was a game changer. So it was really my reason for starting the business.
Yeah, very cool. Thanks for that. And I guess how important is Xero in how you promote and market SeaChange?
Well, over the last, probably I'd say 4 years, very important. Xero is why we started, and I think it's our specialty, our point of difference. Our staff are very, very well trained, and we provide that support for clients. So we're really wanting to get that message out. And I can see that Xero now it's a growing market. The awareness that people have and businesses have of Xero is growing. So it's almost, I'd say, mandatory for us in everything that we do. We try and link in Xero with it, whether it's our blogs, on our website. We've sort of got it from the homepage all throughout the website. We do regular newsletters, our email newsletters out to clients, so we make sure that there's mention in a couple of places of Xero, whether it's tips and tricks or just the latest features and updates that they've done. And with the emails, we're using Campaign Monitor too, so we're able to track which clients are on Xero and which ones aren't, so we can target those a little bit as well.
Cool.
Facebook, we're sharing sort of more, I guess, more of the social side. The team went to XeroCon this year, so the 4 of us went along. So we're sort of, just posting photos and videos there. There's a publication in Port Macquarie, a high-quality publication that comes out monthly. So a couple of times a year we run a feature in that where we interview a client and talk to them about Xero, how they've found it, what benefit it's made to their business. And how SeaChange has helped or assisted with that. And we run regular events every month on Xero.
Cool. So I just saw that we've got a question that's come in about email outreach. We're going to be getting to the Q&A in just a minute, so keep those questions coming in through the Q&A. If you've got any questions for myself or Sandra, feel free to ask those. But I was just going to ask you, Sandra, when you started the firm, I know that not all of your clients were on Xero. What marketing did you do to kind of move them across, and how long did that take?
It was probably an ongoing process. We sort of focused on just creating the awareness and providing information to clients, just so that they, I guess that they could see the name Xero. In the early days, not everyone was aware of it. So it was just continually putting it in our newsletters and emails. We ran an event at one of the local hotels. We were lucky enough to have Anna Cochrane from Xero sort of coming through at that time. So we actually had her present the event for us and had along some prospects and clients. So that was good. We invited, quite a lot of prospects along that were clients of ours, but, not using Xero at that time, and offering free demonstrations. I did have one client, it's my favourite story. He came in to us very organised using traditional desktop software, said, I'm not interested in Xero, I'm happy with what I'm using, and okay, we let it go. And then just obviously his awareness and seeing our emails, a year later he just said, should I change to Xero? Absolutely. So and he has a back. So we just had to give him time, really, and just it's not instant.
No, I mean that's true of all marketing. Consistency, persistence is really important, and sometimes and repetition is super underrated as well. You've got to just kind of sometimes be saying the same message lots of times before it to sink in with people, and I think that proves it.
Absolutely.
You mentioned the events there, so I know you run those fairly regularly. How have those gone, and what do you do to promote those events?
So we've probably been running these for about a year now. So we run them twice a month, and they're really aimed at people that have already been using Xero. So it's not a demonstration; it's those clients, and we've had businesses come in and attend that aren't clients of SeaChange, and that's great too. We really sort of focus on showing them parts of Xero that, when you're first learning it, it's all a bit overwhelming. So they're just finding value in just seeing other functions and features of Xero that they can use. We promote those. We've got an area on our homepage where there's some information about these events and a link to this sign up page, as well as along the top bar of the website. We have pinned it on our Facebook site so that that's sort of front and centre up the top of our Facebook. And just we're continually mentioning our newsletters and emails that we're sending out, as well as those case study features that we run in the magazine. There's always a mention to the Xero sessions.
I notice you charge for them as well. If they're not a client, do you think that helps?
I think our aim with that was that we wanted to provide. We have quite a lot of our clients on packages, a fixed package, so we wanted just to provide that as an extra benefit for them. So just to really just put a small fee on for an on-client, and you know, people have been happy to pay. So
yeah.
That was really just to bring in that point of difference for those.
Yeah, cool. I've just got one question coming in, so feel free to keep those questions coming in. Not for you, Sandra, but someone's asking about if they're doing email outreach, how do you get around the anti-spam laws in Canada, which I know are quite restrictive? Same in the EU now after GDPR. Well, the thing about outreach is it doesn't actually come under spam rules because we're not sending bulk emails. So the way you're doing this is one by one. You're just sending someone basically a connection. So as long as you don't just keep harassing them, it's completely legitimate to send someone a business-to-business inquiry. You know, they're not going to legislate against that because, you know, otherwise how would, you know, a client, you know, be able to email you or whatever. So businesses, it's legitimate to email as long as you're not doing it through bulk software. And, you know, like repeatedly doing something if someone asks you to not. I don't think it comes under those laws at all. So hopefully that answers that question. We're coming up nearly to the hour. I had one more question for you, Sandra. Do you get many leads from Google?
We do actually, and the ones that we get are after the Xero support and that Xero expertise. So it's sort of ticking all the boxes because, you know, we're finding our ideal clients and the businesses are finding that, you know, that service that they're after. So,
and they're mostly regional leads coming through, like local ones?
Not always, no. No, we've had, the majority are. We've actually had an inquiry from a cafe owner in Perth, and we've had inquiries from New Zealand companies that have foreign branches here too. So no, it's quite spread out. But yeah, I'd say the majority would be local.
Okay. Yeah, very cool. Well, we've nearly run out of time, so I just wanted to say thank you, Sandra, for coming along today. Really appreciate you sharing those insights with us. And thank you to everybody for coming along to the session today. As I mentioned, if you book a website demo, we're going to give you a free marketing blueprint where we're going to help you create a marketing plan and strategy document. So you can see the link in the chat to book that demo. Get that done, and we'll schedule that blueprint meeting for you. I just saw a question asking if there's going to be recording. Yep, there is. We're going to send that out in an email either later today, or most likely it'll go out tomorrow, and we'll send the slides out as well. So that just leaves us, say thanks very much for coming along. Thanks, Sandra, and to all of you, enjoy the rest of your day.